Okay, so we just got done seeing Guardians of the Galaxy, and I haven't read the comics for that. My brother has, but I have not. So I didn't know a whole lot going into it. Um, did you have any expectations going into it?
Well, it's a Marvel film, so I thought it was gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's very rare that since the Avengers series has begun, it's very rare that the Avenger Marvel franchise that they've been doing for the movies has, if any of them have failed, for me at least. I mean, the first Captain America I didn't care a whole lot for, but yeah. So I had high hopes, but again, I didn't really know anything about it going into it. I got to be honest. This is probably my favorite Marvel film so far, altogether, including every film that Marvel has made. This is really good.
It
And
was, dude.
I had so much fun with this. Brian over here, you can't see me, he gave it a good review too. And I wasn't. What I loved about this was like, on one hand, you can, as it is meant to be, you can look at it as, another installment in the Marvel franchise, which it is. But just looking at this as its own space opera, space adventure film, it's just a blast. The comedy works.
It does.
That's one of the reasons why I hated the Transformers movie and movies, is that I don't think the comedy works in those movies. And this one, it's really funny. The jokes work. The characters work. I was laughing constantly throughout the movie.
Dude, it was fun.
And it was one of those movies where I was having so much fun with it that the time went by really fast. At one point, it just hit me. I was like, we're already at the midpoint. Like, wow, we're already, like, at the midpoint of the story. That went by crazy because I was having so much fun. This movie just works so well. It's a great example of something that just works well. I don't remember the last time I've seen a space adventure film that worked that well. Granted, there haven't been a whole lot that have come out in the recent years, at least in the mainstream of Hollywood.
Well, you
but
haven't seen The Fifth Element yet, have you?
I've seen parts of it, but that's
Okay.
that's pretty old now.
Well, yeah.
That's like over
it's
10
from the
years.
night. It's from
That's
the 90s.
over 10 years now. Actually, over 15 years. But I meant like as
Well,
far as
the Star Trek movies.
there's
are good.
Star
I love
Trek.
the Star Trek
Yeah,
movies.
there's Star Trek. There's Star Trek. There's some TV shows, but I mean, it's still not something you see too much
No.
nowadays. And there was of course the Star Wars prequels too, but like it's not something you see too much nowadays, especially if we're just going by the past couple years. I mean, yeah, there's Star Trek, but I mean, but it was done really well though. It just knew not to take itself too seriously, and it had, a really colorful cast of characters, all of whom are really fun, all of whom do a really good job. They're very charismatic. Bradley Cooper voicing the raccoon is really outgoing and fun. And then Vin Diesel, as limited as he may be in it, he's really fun, and his character, more importantly, is really fun. But Batista, who is most famous for wrestling in the WWE, he's actually really good too. And the leads, the other leads are good. And this movie had a really, I didn't do much research of this movie going into. This movie has a big cast, and you got Michael Rooker. I didn't know he's gonna be there. Glenn Close has a small part in it. Lee Pace is the villain. I've been watching *Halt and Catch Fire*, so I've been kind of on a Lee Pace period right now. And there's a lot of little cameos. I noticed in the credits that Rob Zombie had a little part in it. Lloyd Kaufman was in there for like a couple seconds.
Stan Lee, of course.
Of course, the crowd went ballistic in the theater. We had a pretty energetic crowd, but they were fun though. It wasn't like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes where I was getting frustrated with my.
I was
with
getting
people.
very frustrated.
But these people were fun. It works for this kind of movie,
Mhm.
especially since it's a very comedic film. There's really not much to say. It's a Marvel film, but it's one that kind of stands alone because it's so different. It's a space film.
And it's one of the first Marvel films that doesn't have any of like any of the Avengers in it.
Yeah, or even Nick Fury.
Mm-mm.
But it worked though. Again, like it just works as its own thing, but it also works as an installment in the franchise. I'm not kidding. I really think this is probably the most fun I've had at a Marvel film, and I've been watching them ever since they made the first Spider-Man back when I was in elementary school. You know, and I love the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. I love Iron Man. I love the Avengers. But like this is, and I liked Captain America 2 that came out earlier this year, but a lot. But this was just so much fun, and I highly recommend it. It's just a blast if you're a fan of these kind of
Well,
movies.
this is going to be highly successful.
It already is. It has to be. It's getting nothing but critical acclaim, but I
Mhm.
completely agree with it. It's just it serves its purpose. It does it well. It doesn't drag on. The action, of course, is really good. It's well directed. The special effects are really good.
Oh, yeah.
A. I'm giving it an A. Great movie. One of the best I've seen this year by far. Definitely go see it. I wouldn't mind seeing it again within the next week or so. Really,
Yeah,
it's just so much fun. Another thing I
it's a
love.
rewatchable film.
Absolutely, it is. This is definitely one to buy on Blu-ray when it comes out. One thing else was that I loved the '70s rock soundtrack. In the trailers they keep playing "Hooked on a Feeling," and that's in the movie. But just all together, this had some great choices. You also have "Ain't No Mountain High Enough" and "Cherry Bomb," which was really awesome. So I mean, it was just really fun hearing these classic tunes to this space, futuristic adventure atmosphere. It's just a blast. Go see it. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else? I
mean,
really
the
have
only
nothing else
thing
to say.
for me going into it, if you're not a Marvel, like if you've never read any of the comics or anything
Mhm.
like that, you're gonna be really confused as to what's going on, like who the people are and like all that kind of stuff. Like I was like I'm so confused. I don't know who any of
I
these
think
people
it
are.
helps if you read the comics, but I don't think you have to.
Well, no, like by the
Because
end,
you
by
and
the
I-
end, I understood what was going
Yeah.
on, but in the beginning, I was really confused.
But like I said, I didn't read the Guardians of the Galaxy comics, and I was able to follow the film.
Yeah.
I think you can follow the film. Again, it's like any of the other Avengers Marvel movies. If you've read the comics, you'll know the characters better because you've
Mhm.
read them before. But if you don't, you can still follow it and you can still have fun with it.
Mhm.
It just helps better if you're a
Yeah.
fan. By the way, I won't spoil what's after the credits, but there's a hilarious cameo that if you're a comic guy, you'll get it and it's really funny. A little George Lucas reference of one of his more shameful projects in the past. And I'm not talking about Star Wars. So, the Star Wars prequels. So, yeah, I mean, really, like, the characters work, the comedy's good, the action's good. This team, the Guardians, they work so...
They have chemistry.
They have so much chemistry. It's kind of funny because when you really they're not a very good team. Like,
No.
they're kind of the worst, best, superhero team. But that's why, but it does that intentionally. It does it comedically. And because of that, it's really entertaining. It's not like it's poorly written. On the contrary, this film is very well written. But it's done for laughs. It's like you have like the world's worst fighters, heroes coming together to form this terrible team, and it's up to them to save the galaxy.
Mhm.
But it's funny though, and it works. And again, the characters are so well written, and the people that play them do such a good job that it really, I know we're just repeating ourselves, but that's really all there is to it. It's a great film. Definitely go see it. That's all I got. So I'll have some more videos up soon. So thanks for watching. See ya.